friends, welcome to you all on my channel, The Opinion Platform. Once again, we have with us in the discussion Dr. Abhay Kumar, who does not need any more introduction, not because he has appeared on my channel several times, but he is very popular as a columnist, as a senior journalist, and he has been constantly writing for almost 2.5 decades in Urdu, English and Hindi, and his articles are widely read and very popular. We'll come directly to the point and we will try to understand that how politics of India is changing to the core. We have just seen that Lok Sabha election, which is General election of 2024 concluded, and the result came out on 4th June. After the result came out of general election, it was being speculated that a massive shift of politics is going to happen in India, which is moving from extreme right to the center. After the result came and we observed that the BJP far right organization lost, and BJP could not even touch the majority mark, and it needed the support of two other parties. One of the parties had the socialist legacy. To a great surprise, when the discussion had not fully developed around the politics of India and the direction in which the Indian politics is moving, we observed that a big fat marriage was happening. Mukesh Ambani's son Anant Ambani was being married to Radhika Merchant, and the costliest marriage of the recent times globally, this marriage could turn out to be. And many newspapers reported that this marriage, the expense of the marriage was almost 1200 crores. Somebody reported 5000 crore. The final data, the final report, the final cost, final expense of this marriage of Anant Ambani and Radhika Merchant are yet to be published. What is the striking part in that marriage was the strong opposition leaders who openly criticize the Ambani's politics, Ambani's business, Adani's politics, Adani's business. Because the way Ambani, Adani's two business houses have impacted the Indian politics in a very brutal capitalistic mode, it was being observed that in a near future, India is going to be tilted towards the socialist perspective. But after the videos, photos were released, that stalwart socialist leaders like Akhilesh Yadav, like Lalu Prasad Yadav went to attend the marriage of Mukesh Ambani with the full family members. Most of the people were very sad, and the socialist faction, especially of supporters, are very confused. We don't know how to understand this kind of politics. To speak on this topic, we have Dr. Abhay Kumar, who looks into the changing dimensions and dynamics of politics in everyday life. Abhayji, welcome.
Thank you.
I welcome you on my channel. How do you see this phenomenon in which a leader like Lalu Prasad Yadav, who is known to have opposed the rich people and is claimed to be and called as a messiah of the poor people and opposition of the rich people and supporters of the voiceless people, how do you see Lalu Yadav, despite being so sick, attending the Mukesh Ambani's house's marriage, Anant Ambani's marriage? What is the message being sent around?
Thank you very much, Dharmrajji. On social media, I saw that people are divided on two lines. Okay, one group of people were attacking, let's say Lalu Prasad Yadav, Tejasvi Yadav, okay, and also Uttar Pradesh Samajwadi Party leader Akhilesh Yadav ji, that they went there to celebrate, to participate in Adani's son's marriage.
Ambani's son's marriage.
Sorry,
Mukesh Ambani's
Mukesh Ambani's son's marriage. So somehow they have compromised their politics, their ideology, and Rahul Gandhi, who was not there, I think the true politics is being represented by the Congress party, because Rahul Gandhi is speaking against Ambani or Adani and crony capitalism, and he did not go there. On the other hand, the socialist leaders, the leaders who claim to be the champion of the social justice, they have gone there. So that Congress supporters, they are criticizing Lalu Prasad Yadav, Akhilesh. So this is one argument. I have seen that some activists, some scholars who support Dalit Bahujan ideology, they have written some articles on social media, and they argue that our leaders going to attend Ambani's son's wedding is not a crime. The supporters of Dalit Bahujan, they argue that leaders belonging to Dalit Bahujan ideology or social justice ideology, even if they have gone there, they have attended Ambani's son's wedding, that does not mean that they have compromised their politics. They still stand for social justice. They are working for the empowerment or for the empowering backward classes and OBC and STs and women. These are two arguments. Now the question is that a journalist like you or a journalist like me, where should we stand? Okay, because we are not following any party blindly. Okay, we are not andhabhakt, okay, blind supporter of any party. Okay, so my argument would be that we have to understand Ambani's wedding in a larger context. Dharamraj, the first thing I would like to our friends to keep in mind, that modern politics is very different from the pre-modern politics. How is it different? Earlier in pre-modern period, what was the case? That the king, or means the political head, was also controlling the economy. You understand my point? That a king is also the owner of all the wealth. The wealthier person and the political head, both things are being done by the same person. But what has happened, that in democracy there has been a separation between politics and business. So the political leaders are elected in a democratic setup through elections, okay, and they present themselves as the representative of the people. And the business class, they say that we do not interfere in politics, okay, we follow the rule of the law and we do our business separately for the welfare of the society and for the country. So there has been a separation between the politicians and the business classes, the capitalist classes and the political classes. But this is only a claim. In fact, what has happened, that in modern time, the capitalist classes, the business classes have become much more smart. You understand? They know that if they go and take part in politics every day, then they will be also held responsible for the wrong policies, anti-people policy. So what they are trying to do, they are doing their business, okay, away from the political field. At the same time, they also try to influence politicians to make policies in their favor. So what is happening, that political class is not seen at parliament, political class is not seen in electoral process, but they are funding elections. They are deciding or they are influencing that who should be the chief minister, who should be the finance minister, who should be the key members in Niti Aayog or in planning commission, who should become the petroleum minister. So the point I am trying to say, that in democracy, not only in India, but also in Europe, also in America also, the political class is very much influenced, very much coerced by the business classes. So how this point is linked to wedding of Ambani's son is that Ambani's son wedding should not be seen in isolation. It is very much a political act, a very much it is a business act. Ambani, by arranging marriage or spending so much money, in fact, he has given invitation card to all those stakeholders to come, and in this way, Ambani Group is also trying to influence them so that if tomorrow, if new project is being launched in their areas, they will be cooperating with the Adani's companies. You understand? Ambani's company. So my argument is that I do not see this marriage in isolation. Many people would say that this is their personal matter. I do not see this is a personal matter. It is very much a political act, and whosoever has gone there in that marriage, they have somehow justified, they have somehow supported the larger policies of Reliance and larger policies of Ambani's. And if tomorrow they are criticizing Ambani's, I think we should not take their criticism at its face value. We should be very much we should be very critical of it. And now the question is asked that Rahul Gandhi has not gone there, so I will also not leave Congress party untouched. I have seen through social media that a Karnataka leader, I think Congress Karnataka leader, I think his name is DK Shiv Kumar.
Yes.
So DK Shiv Kumar was also there. If I saw it, I think Kamal Nath was also there. If you may correct me, there were many Congress leaders, top leaders. They also went there. So the liberal camp, which is only criticizing Lalu Prasad Yadav or Akhilesh Yadav, that is also not their honest politics. The way this marriage has been celebrated, the way celebrities have gone, the way politicians have gone, it shows that Indian democracy is very much being influenced by the corporate interest in constitution. The Indian state has been defined as a socialist state, okay? It is a socialist republic. The directive principle in our constitution directs the state to launch welfare policies. But our politicians, in a very different way, in a varied manner, they are largely fulfilling the project of the business classes. And I can say that okay, one state may be different from another state, one political party may be different from another political party. That space for maneuvering is there. But my argument is nobody is outside the circle where the influence of the big corporate forces are there. I think everybody is trying to appease the business classes, and this is a critical moment. I find it is a crisis in Indian politics, and I would like to stop here by giving reference to an article which was published in Wire. I think the article was written by Nalin Kumar. I think it was printed in Wire. I think on 15th or 16th of July, I think 10 or 8 days back. And in that piece, Nalin Verma has argued that Lalu Prasad Yadav has appreciated Dhirubhai Ambani's and his hard work, and there has always been a soft corner in the heart of Lalu Prasad Yadav for the Dhirubhai Ambani, and Dhirubhai Ambani has also liked Lalu Prasad Yadav. I don't understand that why this article was written at this moment. I find that when the people are criticizing, I think Lalu Prasad Yadav and Tejaswi Yadav for going there, I think such article is trying to justify, although such act cannot be justified. Such argument, such article has been written to justify such act. But I find that I have been a great supporter and admirer of Lalu Prasad Yadav, but the way I saw him in the wedding party, he looked very helpless to me, I must say. He was not enjoying. If I read his face, I don't know, he might have been forced to go there. He might have been under some pressure, maybe.
I would like to stop you here.
Yes.
The man Lalu Prasad Yadav, who was not forced politically, who chose to go to jail
Yes.
and was not in a position even to go and make and do bargain of any kind with the other parties, where we have seen that other parties under the carpet, as per the reports go, the rumors have spread that so many other opposition leaders have somehow implicitly compromised with the ruling parties, present ruling parties. How come Lalu Prasad Yadav can be forced? Do you think Lalu Yadav can be forced to take such steps where his the image of his whole life, whole politics will come closer to the collapse?
See, Dharamraj ji, you are right. I have not met, I have not talked to Lalu Prasad Yadav ji, so I am only making a guess. I am only making a guess. A person who is watching Lalu Prasad Yadav attending the marriage. My guess is that Lalu Prasad Yadav in 1990s, when he was controlling the politics, his health was great, the politics of social justice was at its height. That Lalu Prasad Yadav and today's Lalu Prasad Yadav, I find that there is a difference, because he is not controlling politics, he is not so
Would you
important.
like to say that Lalu Prasad is on the verge of surrendering his entire
No, I would not say.
politics?
No, I would not say that he's surrendering. My argument would be that time is changing, and every time the same person.
He has also learnt the art of being socialist and not being socialist. This is what you are going to say?
No, Dharmraj ji, I would always say that social justice parties have always been speaking for socialism, for greater responsibility of the state in theory. They have never been the supporter of privatization. They have never been supporter of capitalism. Baba Sahib Ambedkar, who has been criticized by some leftists, some ultra leftists, by saying that, oh, Ambedkar has no position on capitalism, he is a defender of capitalism. And one of my friends often say, at best he is a bourgeois leader. Okay, at best he wants bourgeois revolution, not beyond that. But you read Dr. Bhim Rao Ambedkar's speeches, his writing, he has said very clearly that capitalism in Europe has emerged in such a way that few classes, the powerful classes, the rich classes, has amassed wealth, and somehow it has created society based on inequality. And he was very much concerned that such mistakes, such wrong history should not be repeated in India. So he was very much for, I should say, he was very much for non-capitalist development. Okay, and when in his before his death, he was giving lecture in Kathmandu, and he compared Buddha and Karl Marx, and his essay is there, Buddha or Karl Marx. In that article, he is bringing Buddha and Karl Marx together, and he said both Buddha and both Karl Marx talked about the rights of downtrodden. Both Buddha and both Karl Marx talked about abolition of the private property. Okay, but he preferred Buddha to Marx only as far as the strategy is concerned. He said that the goal of both Buddha and Karl Marx is the same, to bring about equality in society, but Karl Marx, as he understood, spoke for a radical revolution, overthrow of the capitalist system. On the other hand, the path which Buddha has suggested, as interpreted by Baba Sahib Bhimrao Ambedkar, is the path of gradual change, non-violence, democratic change. Okay, so the Ambedkar was never for capitalism. Ambedkar was
No. Let's
Ambedkar
come to
was
the point.
okay. Yes, Ambedkar was for socialism. Ambedkar was for collectivization of agricultural land. Ambedkar was for a state taking all the responsibility as far as the health, education and employment is concerned. Ambedkar was a very successful labor minister was also. So my point is, both Lohia, Ambedkar, Phule, they were all critical of capitalism, and that is why I would say that in theory, Social Justice Party, RJD, Samajwadi Party, Bahujan Samaj Party, they are all against capitalism, okay? But they sometimes they are not so vocal as we wanted them to be so, and that is why I am also sad to see the presence of Samajwadi leaders in marriage ceremony. They could have spent their time by visiting their constituency and spending their time with the Dalit and Bahujans and poor people. I think the way they have gone there, their stature, and I think in my eyes it has been reduced a bit. But that is not to say that Congress party is really a great alternative in a sense, because Rahul Gandhi has not gone there. If Rahul Gandhi has not gone there, I admire Rahul Gandhi and I respect Rahul Gandhi for that. But Rahul Gandhi should also ask DK Shiv Kumar that why he has gone there, in which capacity he has gone there. And I want to draw your attention to a recent interview by Mr. Adani, which was conducted by journalist Rajat Sharma in his popular TV show Aapki Adalat, in which Adani has said that I have no differences, I have no problem with any political party. All political parties, wherever they are having their government, everybody is cooperating with me, including from right to left. He has said it, and we have seen that in Kerala also, where the CPM is ruling, in that Kerala, Adani project is very much taken up by the government, and those fishermen who are opposing Adani project, I think they have been harassed by the establishment led by the CPM, which is a communist party. And in JNU, where we are having this discussion, the student activists belonging to, let's say, left organization, they keep chanting that we are against neoliberalism, we are against neoliberalism, and social justice parties are for neoliberalism. They are not vocal against the neoliberalism, but the reality is that somehow in Indian politics, business classes has become very powerful. Their say after 1990, with the onset of globalization, privatization has become big, and that is why sometimes I feel that social justice parties, which were very vocal against them earlier, they are also not seen to be so vocal at this point.
Friends, you just heard the opinion of the political analyst, senior journalist Dr. Abhay Kumar. He has clearly spoken that how the presence of Lalu Prasad Yadav ji in the marriage of Anant Ambani at Mukesh Ambani house has reduced his stature, at least in the minds of millions of the people who had somehow believed for decades that there would always be some voices present in India who will try to voice the concerns of the voiceless. Unfortunately, that era seems coming to an end, and new politics needs to begin from this juncture, where all political parties have almost surrendered. In fact, he has directly spoken that even if maybe that the major leader of the opposition, Rahul Gandhi, may not have gone to attend that wedding at Mukesh Ambani's house, that does not mean that Congress leaders from other states have not gone. So the serious crisis has happened in India in the field of politics, which is overpowered directly by business class. If you like our discussion, please subscribe, like and share this. On behalf of my audience and myself, I would like to thank you. You have spoken your mind on this very crucial point, which has confused millions of supporters of social justice politics and leaders. Thank you very much.
Thank you.